Hello, Alessandrina here. And this morning I'd like to talk about change and how we can go from fearing change and projecting negative implications onto change and imagining all the ways in which things in our lives that are changing could go wrong and ways in which we could feel out of control and essentially in a state where we're not inviting change, we're resisting change, we're um, going to feel stuck, and potentially also in a state where we're in an uncomfortable comfort zone, meaning that we keep replaying out the same kind of thought patterns, the same kind of emotional patterns, the same relationship dynamics, the same conflicts, and the same cycle of looking at life in the way that we've looked at life maybe our whole life. And of course, that's nobody's fault. It's part of our conditioning, meaning that however we've learned through school, through our teachers, through the media, through social media, through our parents, through their parents, through the whole collective consciousness, however we've learned in the past to look at life and things that unfold in our lives through the lens of problem and solving problem, that essentially that conditioning has momentum, and we're kind of stuck in that cycle of imagining that something that we want to bring into our lives, an intention that we have, a change that we want to implement, is going to lead to problems or to things being out of control or to us feeling out of control. And so because of that conditioning, because of that projection that we have onto life, onto reality, what ends up happening is we're not really understanding how to put into place and start to implement the steps that will support the change that we want in our lives. So instead of saying, oh, I intend to do this in my life, or I want to change this in my life, and then just very objectively in a non-emotional way. And what I mean by that, it doesn't mean not to have joy and love and to feel good about the process of change, simply not being emotionally reactive from our fear. So instead of being grounded and essentially assessing step by step what are the different steps that we will take towards that change, towards our intention, what we often do is we start to project problems and more problems onto the things that show up in our life, or onto our intentions, or onto the change that we choose, or onto things that unfold in our lives. And because we don't understand the implication of those new things, and because we react to them from fear, then we start to resist and we start to feel like something's wrong or something bad is happening, and then we get stuck. So there's a very simple process that you can apply that will help you to start to shift your relationship to change, to start to shift your relationship to essentially implementing a new intention, to start to shift your relationship to things that show up in your life that feel like they're unsafe, or you're not in control of them, and to actually to feel good about them being in your life, and then to ask yourself why they're there in a positive way, not in a victimized manner, feeling like they shouldn't be there or something's wrong or bad if they are there. Simply inviting the change, inviting the newness into your life. So a very, very simple process, a shift that you can make in your life right now is every time that something comes up, and including at times where negative emotions get triggered, So the tendency, if we feel judgment of something, or we blame something, or we feel uncomfortable about something, or we feel angry about something, frustrated about something, sad about something, the tendency is going to be to react and to say something's wrong and this is a problem. And if you stay repeating that conditioning reaction, then what will happen is you will continue to see it as a problem, to be in the energy of this is a problem, and not see the opportunity that's presenting itself to you, including sometimes if something triggers our anger, that's an opportunity for us to release our anger, which is a gift. So in the moment where we feel angry, we might not feel like that. We might feel victimized. We might feel judgmental of our own anger, or we might blame the thing, the situation, or the person that we imagine to be causing our anger, instead of realizing, oh, this is an opportunity. So if you start asking yourself every time something arises in your life, or every time you invite a change, or every time that you have an intention, and you ask yourself the simple question, what is the opportunity here? And it might take some time, meaning that, again, because we're conditioned to look at things as problems and to project the worst about change or about anything that shows up in our life that feels uncomfortable, there's going to be this tendency to react. And you might even be able to start tracking it in your system. As something comes up, how long after does the negative emotion arise? How long after do you start projecting negative implications and different worst case scenarios onto the situation? And so you can start to track that, and at the same time reconditioning yourself, reorganizing the way that you think and you feel and you engage with change or with things that show up in your life, by simply asking the question, what is the opportunity for me here? And so shifting from problem to opportunity, which may seem very basic and simplistic, and it's also very profound, because when we begin to look at life through that lens of opportunity, and we begin to ask ourselves every time that a change is occurring, or every time we have an intention or something feels problematic, every time we ask ourselves, what is the opportunity here? Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Asking, what for? What is this happening to me for? What is the opportunity here? What am I learning? What am I going to understand better? What can I do differently? How can I see things differently and experience them differently? And over time, as you continuously change that way of thinking and that way of relating to change in general, and to just life as it unfolds in general, what happens is your energy is going to change. And as your energy changes, now you'll be much more open to positive change and to also solutions. So being oriented towards finding solutions rather than brooding on problems, projecting more problems, creating more problems through that mindset, and being in the energy of the problem instead of the energy of the solution. So I invite you to try that out, and please give us your feedback on how this changes your life. Of course, if you just do it once, it's not going to maybe make a significant change in the way that you experience life and reality. That said, if you practice it again and again, and sometimes you'll forget, and it's good to look at, in those moments, where's the resistance to implementing the practice? Why are you not using this tool in that moment? Why are you not accepting this change in perspective? So just practicing it every day, again and again, and noticing when you don't practice it and realizing why. And so over time, as you do that, you will start to change, not just at the conscious level. Subconsciously, you will start to change the way that your subconscious mind relates to change, and any limiting beliefs around change or any conditioned in reactions to change will start to be replaced with this very powerful, empowered perspective of just looking at life and everything that happens in our life as an opportunity, even if collectively it might not be, let's say, interpreted in that way. Even if some people would look at the situation in a very negative way, with a negative lens, you don't have to continue to operate in those ways and to be limited by those perspectives and ways of looking at life and reality. I hope this is helpful. Sending you much love.